Hey guys, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Ron, and today I'm going to give you an update on my Monstera Adansonii. So it's been just about 3 months since I combined the mother plant with all of those cuttings into one big pot. And let me just show you where it is living currently. Okay, so it's basically mid-October, and as you can see, there's not a lot of direct sunlight coming through the window. It's 4 p.m. right now. So I'm prepared with these grow lights, as you can see, for the upcoming fall and winter months. Now, if we look outside my window real quick, in this area there will be some direct sun as the sun lowers in the horizon or in the sky as we move into the winter months. But that's the neighbor that blocks the majority of the sun. In the summertime, earlier, like a few months ago, there would be some direct sun coming through the window for maybe like 4 hours every day. So that's just kind of a reference as to how much light the Monstera Adansonii gets, because it's not near any of the grow lights. So it's kind of like a low to medium light situation up there. So yeah, that's where it's been ever since I combined all of those cuttings with the mother plant. And let me just show you the longest vine right here. So in that video, I mentioned that because I wanted it to be a trailing plant instead of adding a stake into the pot, I was fully aware of how the leaves would potentially become smaller as they trailed. And you can see that's actually happening here, which is fine because it still looks very pretty. Because the pot is glazed, the soil doesn't dry out until like 2 weeks or so. So I would water it every 2 weeks. And it seems to be doing fine. There were additional yellow leaves that eventually fell off. But yeah, let me take it down and give you a closer look. Okay, here she is. Look at how wide she's getting. Here are some of the vines that have grown so long, but some of the nodes here have not pushed out any leaves. And I think that's a sign of not having enough light. So because of that, it's trying to stretch towards the light. So that's happening at this vine, but it's also happened on this vine as well, over there, as you can see. So aside from those trailing vines, if we look towards the top here, we can actually see that it's really getting bushy. Look at this leaf right here. Look at all of those holes. Yeah, this was the vine that had the biggest leaf. This leaf right here is from that vine, and I don't know what happened, but it ended up browning and not totally unfurling. But after that leaf came this leaf. And after that leaf came this leaf. And there's 2 more on the way here. So aside from that browning incident, I think it's actually quite happy up here. But of course, when this vine actually starts to trail down the plant, it will push out smaller leaves. But that's okay, because as you can see up here, that space is kind of being invaded by the Syngonium albo, which grows super fast. I don't even know what to do with it. I know I'm gonna have to cut it back pretty significantly. I might have to do the same thing like the Adansonii in terms of like cutting it all the way down to the base, because it's growing super long. So I decided to hang the longest trailing vine up onto my curtain rod up there, which you can see the leaves are getting very, very small. So that is due for a pruning and propagation. I'm gonna end up with so many leaves, so many leaf cuttings that I don't know, I don't even know what to do with them. But anyway, if we look into the pot here, you can see just how chunky the soil mix is. There's a lot of orchid bark, leca, and perlite, and I think it actually needs a watering very soon. But like I said earlier, this does dry every 2 weeks or so. I assume it's gonna stay wet longer during the winter months. And that's because the pot is actually glazed on the inside. And it's glazed all throughout, so it doesn't dry as fast as my other pots, which is fine because different pots require different mixes, okay? So if you actually use typical soil potting mix into this glazed pot, you're gonna find out it's gonna dry like every 3 weeks or something like that. So that's why I opted for a very, very chunky mix in this one. And I explained all of that in the potting video, which if you haven't checked out, you probably should. And I just noticed this ginormous leaf right here. It's like the size of my hand. So cool. The end of that vine, oh, that's actually the same vine that I was talking about earlier. So this is the biggest leaf probably. And it grows so fast that the newest leaf doesn't even give the previous leaf a chance to unfurl all the way, as you can see. But we'll leave that alone. It's doing its thing. But yeah, so it doesn't get the brightest light. It gets a thorough watering every 2 weeks. Some yellowing of the leaves did occur and fell off. And as you can see, the leaves are getting smaller, but they're so cute. I don't mind that at all. I might actually move it from that shelf. Actually, never mind, because that Marble Queen is already up there. And I had recently moved my clip-on lights to that shelf. So I don't know, I might actually have to get another clip-on light to go up there to help this one. Or, I don't know, move it somewhere else in the house? Let me know what you think. I will probably just leave it up there because it seems to be doing really well. Also, in terms of watering, I am using liquid dirt, so I think that actually really helps with all of this new growth. And I am using liquid dirt on all of my plants ever since I created that liquid dirt video. And liquid dirt is so awesome. I don't know why I've never used it prior, because I've seen like literally explosive growth with most of my plants. I recommend you to try it out because, you know, or if you don't know, liquid dirt does not burn foliage. So you can use as little or as much, which I found out that a lot of people have actually been using liquid dirt the wrong way. They would go ahead and use the mix before diluting it another time. So if you think you've been using it wrong, then definitely you can check out my how-to video, because I follow all of the steps in 3 easy steps and show you exactly how to mix it. For houseplants use, of course. Well, that's about it for the update. I know there were a couple of you guys who were basically too scared. Not too scared, I don't want it to sound like a bad thing. I know there were a couple of you who actually have been wanting to propagate your Monstera Adansonii down to the base. And this just proves that, you know, it can actually be done and it will grow back. So if you believe that there is a very healthy root system in the pot, then you can end up with something like this. So I say go for it. If you do decide to go for it, I would recommend you give it more light, way more light than I was giving this one, because you don't want to end up with these lonely nodes with no leaves. And if you can, stake it up a moss pole or something. Unless, of course, if you don't mind the smaller leaves. But yeah, that's what I would recommend. I would also recommend you to not use a glazed pot. Try maybe terracotta pots in a more moisture retaining soil mix. Also, I don't know if you remember, but when I had first made the incisions on the mother plant, there were a lot of exposed wounds on all of the stems because they were propagated more than once. So it's kind of like a Frankenstein situation. But if I showed you this plant, you wouldn't have been able to tell, right? Because look at how lush it's gotten. All of the leaves are hiding Frankenstein in there. So I think it turned out really, really well. I'm happy with the result. I'm gonna let it continue to trail down from that top shelf. I do not mind the smaller leaves. Anyway, so that's about it for the update. If you are still unsure about propagating your Monstera Adansonii, this is proof that, you know, it can actually thrive. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comment section down below, or you can also shoot me a message on Instagram @suchplants. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do hit the thumbs up. And if you haven't yet already, plant scribe. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.